The idea that no person is above the law is a bedrock principle of American justice.
No man is above the law, no matter what the crime.
And I agree with you. No man is above the law, and no person is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one's above the law.
No one is above the law.
No man is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No man is above the law.
He has to be held accountable. He's not above the law.
No one's above the law. Either that nor any other title puts you above the rule of law.
No one is truly above the law.
That is what it means to have a rule of law. That is what it means to not have a king.
They're not above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
Everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as equally.
Well, that no one is above the law, which is foundational.
No one is above the law, even a former president.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
Is this what we've come to? A judge being arrested by the FBI. A judge in Wisconsin was arrested by the FBI. They're accusing her of at least misleading ICE agents or throwing them off the trail of someone that they deem to be an illegal alien, as they call them, or an undocumented person. It's really scary. Kash Patel was behind it. He put up a tweet. He has since deleted it. I want to know what's going on. Is this where we're living, in a time where you can detain judges because they're not doing what you want them to do? What happened to the independence of the judiciary? We're supposed to have 3 branches of government.
Escucha, estamos en la lucha. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No due process, no peace. No due process, no peace. Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace. Judge Dugan will be free, no justice, no peace.
I really think that people are protesting, do you know why? Because they're bored. They are protesting because they're bored and they need something to care about and they don't have meaning in their lives. So they protest about every little thing because they saw people back in the day who really had to protest for things that they really needed. And they feel inspired by that. And they just so bored and they got nothing to do. So they just go protest.
Bro, I was finna say something so crazy. I was really finna say, they made me feel like the protests back in the days was just cap shit, how bad it is.
It was different though, bro. They was fighting for the same school buses and water fountains.
Come on, man. That's why they
pisses me off. This is why I'm getting mad. That's why I feel
there's
like
no
that,
objective. What are you? Someone committed a crime, a judge committed a crime, or an illegal committed a crime, and this was the result. And you don't like the result, so we protest. No. You protest to get something done. Like we need this law passed, we need this thing done, this thing right here.
Well, they're trying to get something done.
Remember when this is protested? Remember we stayed the night the LA Days protested outside?
They had an objective.
That was so annoying.
Oh,
hey,
that was crazy.
It's interesting that they're acting like somebody's rights was violated. There's an executive order to deport all illegal immigrants. You're defying an executive order. Just because you're a judge does not mean you get to break the rules.
They said it.
Your job as a judge is to uphold the law.
They said it. Nobody's above the law.
The judge did not uphold the law.
But a judge is a bringer of the law. You uphold the law. You bring the law down on people. So you're violating your oath.
Yeah.
You gotta go to jail.
Because on one hand, it's just like, then it's up to you as to what's the law at that point.
Facts.
Because you persecute these people for doing one thing, but then if this thing resonates with you, you're not gonna.
It's no laws, bro. That's how I feel.
But Democrat officials, they call these protests, they compare them to the civil rights.
They're bored.
They do that.
They're bored.
Crazy. So that's the difference.
Why are they not at work? Why are you not with your family?
They're bored.
People who got things to do, got things to do. They're not gonna go protest every day about things like this, bro.
Yeah, they have to be bored.
They're
bored because nobody's
bro.
life's in danger. There were actually African-American people's lives in danger, and it was actually injustice going on in America at that time. So to compare that to this, somebody that actually went against the law, compared to something that wasn't fair, it wasn't a fair law.
For victims to want to cooperate, they wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow. You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. Sure. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member. So he comes through Eagle Pass December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case, too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him, saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims. Two victims decapitated, gruesome photos. And he was sending them out. And whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Deport the judge to El Salvador.
Hold on, bro. He was sending pictures of decapitated victims.
Yeah, bro.
That's insane.
And you are hugged up with this man with your family. He's living in your house. And he is bragging about decapitating people.
They gave him guns too.
You gave him
what a suppressor.
Well, y'all, he was making money with him, bro.
He was.
That's it, bro. We know what's going on.
1,000,000%.
He was
Why
getting
did he
that
destroy the phone? Why did his wife destroy the phone? They were doing something,
bro,
for Sure.
Hey.
Without a doubt.
Whoever get caught, that's your amigo. I'm gonna get him off.
Break the phone. Okay, I'm good.
You can't make this stuff up,
This
man.
is
This
actual insanity. And people are, so they're not protesting about this one. It's about the other one. The other judge. Judge Dugan.
The Wisconsin one.
Yeah.
This all means that the political battleground state of Wisconsin is now the backdrop for this highly unusual and aggressive legal action against this judge from the Trump administration. Of course, the Trump administration, led by a president who has been free to express his feelings, hostility towards the judiciary.
That's crazy.
Radical left judges, radical left lunatic judges.
He's a nasty judge.
Extreme far left judges.
Being here. Caitlin Pollins, I want to start with you on our latest reporting around this, because this, of course, a very sensitive area for state and local officials. Their interactions with the federal government, of course, always highly scrutinized as a general matter. Clearly, this judge is in a difficult position now. What do we know about what her plans are to try to fight back against this, and what the administration's next moves are?
Well, they have a case, and that case is going to go on in court. She hasn't entered a pleading yet. She was released after appearance. But one of the things that I think should really be highlighted here is not, the case against the judge, it's unusual, but it's not unprecedented. There has been a case like this before in 2019 during the first Trump administration, charging a judge in Massachusetts who was accused of something very similar, trying to usher someone out of that courtroom as ICE officials were waiting for that defendant. In that case, that ended up being resolved. Those charges were dropped in the Biden administration against that judge in Massachusetts, but she ended up cutting a deal. So it was a legitimate case there as well. We don't know how this will go for Judge Dugan, but the thing I really want to highlight here is how this was done today. The Attorney General wants to make an example of this, and boy, are they, Casey. It's not just the Attorney General, Tom Homan, coming out and saying, doesn't matter who you are, we'll go after you, we'll charge you criminally with obstruction. They apprehended this judge on courthouse grounds at 8:30 this morning and then held her in a holding facility at the federal courthourse until her initial appearance.
I don't give a damn if it was 4:30 in the morning.
Why is she framing this like she's a victim?
When the feds do a sweep, it don't matter the time.
They arrested her at her job where she broke the law and then made her sit in jail till she appeared in court.
At 8:30 in the morning.
What a miscarriage of justice, really. Sounds
which happened mid-morning in Milwaukee on these federal charges. It's an obstruction charge, yes, but often people who are upstanding members of the community who aren't a risk of flight, who aren't a danger to the community, they're not put in a cell. They were contacted and said, come in later whenever you want to face your charges, when you negotiate this. And so that situation, the apprehending of the judge and then using the federal government's spotlight to point at this case, it just shows you how much of a hard line the administration wants to take here.
Everything Caitlin said and Andy McCabe said before her about the way this is being handled, the way the arrest is being handled, the way that DOJ is publicizing this is spot on and correct. However, looking at the complaint, let's strip the politics out of it. This is a crime. If they can prove what happened here, it is a crime. This judge, let's strip the Trump of it all out. Let's strip the immigration of it all out. Let's say law enforcement shows up at a building with an arrest warrant. They're looking for person A. Person B then says, hey, there's a secret escape door out back. I'm going to show you the way, and then ushers that person out the back door. That is textbook obstruction. That said, I think there's a fair debate to be had that I guess you two will be having in a moment about whether prosecutors should have brought this case. And let me tell you, I've been both state and federal side. If I was at DOJ and someone brought me this case on these facts, I would say, I get it. I get that robotically this is a crime, but I don't know that this is the right move here. Can't we just call up the state courthouse, see if there's some way we can work this out with the judiciary? How are we going to make arrests? I did this. Where are we going to make arrests? What are the protocols we're going to agree on? Jumping right, not everything that's a crime must be indicted or charged by complaint. And so I think this is a crime on paper, but there's a very fair debate about whether it should have been charged.
Right. Well, prosecutors make choices, right?
Exactly.
An allocation of resources. But David Urban, you have been looking like you want to jump in on this, so please, your floor is yours.
Wait from McCabe. I was waiting since McCabe was talking.
Yeah, he gonna shoot it.
Listen, I hear these people chanting "no justice, no peace." Let's not forget this person, Mr. Reese, committed 2 crimes. He entered the United States illegally. Well, I don't know about the second crime. He's in court there today for domestic violence charge, okay? So it's not like he's there because he's, you know, he's an upstanding citizen. Somebody brought charges against the guy to show up in court for allegedly domestic, you know, hitting somebody in some circumstance. So 2 strikes against the guy to begin with. The judge in this case knows what's going on, sees the ICE officials in the back, to Ellie's point, makes the conscious decision, I'm going to break the law. I'm going to break the law. And let me just make it clear. This president was elected overwhelmingly to seal the border and close down immigration loopholes.
I'm going to break the law.
We had a poll recently, Harry put out, 60% of Americans today want to deport every one of the 11 million plus illegal aliens. They want to deport them. So for Trump, the Trump administration politically, winner, chicken dinner, every time you get somebody in this case, this judge, you know, there's that. Remember when the Colombian president had did the plane shuffle, and then Trump put out the tweet with the face and the FAFO? Same tweet here today.
I completely agree with Ellie. This indictment is strong on its face. They have numerous witnesses. They have a lot of facts that will support this prosecution. But to quote David, yeah, this is a messaging day. And the message here is treating this judge like she just committed some sort of a violent crime, which she didn't, and publicly humiliating her. That is the message to the rest of local judges, local sheriffs, local officials who may feel uncomfortable now being on the pointy edge of the government's immigration efforts. This is an effort at intimidation. There's a clear message being sent by the administration here today. I'm just not so sure it's a good one.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the Justice Department thinks they have a really good position here. Pam Bondi was on television today boasting about this arrest and using language that prosecutors don't tend to use, especially in the pre-indictment phase, not saying allegedly, saying that it happened. And look, I think a lot depends on if the facts are true, as alleged by the FBI agent in the court papers today. It doesn't look great for the judge, no matter how you slice it. But then the other question is, was this kind of escalatory action, was this the best course of action, to actually go and arrest her and take her to court and charge her federally? That's a big step.
She said it. We seen how woke she was during that, whatever this was right here. She said it.
I think that one dude broke it down best. He said, I'm deciding I'm going to commit a crime. So now, when was it like when you commit a crime, they put you on the jailbirds list? All that.
Take a picture.
Everybody's going to find out. That's why you don't want to, you taught that at home. You know your parents teach you, don't go get charged. You know they're going to see your picture and it looks bad on us.
This is ridiculous though. Like the fact that they admitted she did break the crime. She did break the law. She committed a crime. She obstructed justice. They're saying, oh, but it's wrong that she was arrested, held in jail, and now has to go to court. What? It's sending a message. It should send a message. All of you judges who think that you can bend the law to your will because you don't want to prosecute illegals so you can keep your votes. Oh yeah, all you will go to jail and face charges. That's the message that should be sent.
Shout out
I think
Pam
this should be a
Bondi,
chilling message. I think they should go for the max charges, and she should not be able to practice law again.
You can't.
You can't practice
the
law
second dude
again
to talk
at
was like,
all.
well, she did commit a crime. There is evidence. There's witnesses, and they can't. And they didn't describe the crime she committed. And then they said there's witnesses and evidence of her committing the crime. But he said, oh, but I don't think she should have been charged. Or he said we should call up there and try to work this out. No, we shouldn't. I don't think we should reason with these people at all.
But these the main ones that always scream about privilege, though.
Bro, they're so lenient for criminals. They love to just side with the criminal every time. And that's why the far blue cities.
I'm going to tell y'all something.
Look the way they do.
Elon posted something or quoted something today, and it was actually appalling. It said, if you deport all illegal immigrants, Republicans would have a 27-seat advantage in the House. So now we know why the illegals are being fought so hard for.
It's for the vote. I said
it. It says the reason the Democrat judges are fighting so hard to keep the illegals is because if you were deport all of them, they would have a 27-seat advantage. Republicans would.
Well, we know.
So we see
we
the
know
facts
now.
here.
We know now. We know.
That's why they got to fight so hard for them.
Yeah, that is literally the reason. I mean, we can't say it's another reason.
That's the reason.
You can live with me, buddy.
Damn it.
I'll accept your gangways.
Even though you got y'all decapitated a couple people.
Oh, that's
sent
cool,
it
man.
around.
At least I
what
get
a
to
good
keep
guy.
my seat. Wow, this is insane, guys. They'll do anything for their agenda, guys. And
I don't even think it's
know
agenda
that.
at this point, bro. It's
What
really
is it?
just that bread, bro.
Yes, the
I mean,
agenda.
I want to be. I want to be able to prove that theory that they're getting
Power.
paid. I think this is
Power, yeah.
clearly. I think this is clearly what we're seeing.
No, yeah, this is what we're seeing for sure.
We knew it was a thing when we saw the only states Kamala won had no voter ID.
The only ones.